So I'm reading this book, okay? The Language of Sex. And I get this part about the sexual sequence. I get questioning in my head thinking, oh my goodness, I like a plan, but an order, a step-by-step how-to on sex, it got me a little confused, guys. I have to admit, I was a little confused.
You can change the order if you want.
Oh, that would be good.
As long as they're all in there somewhere.
Yeah, okay, that's variety. I love that. But the first thing in your sequence was honor. I'm thinking, people with me, honor, sex,
Yeah, exactly.
how does it work?
Well, because sex is a result of something. It's like making money. If you go straight at money, you don't make money because you're worried about it. It doesn't happen. People can smell it. But if you really love people and serve them, if you really find the product that's right for them and you service that, you're going to get rewarded. That's what happens in life, okay? All of the people down through the last couple hundred years have talked about that.
He is so true, because men, if you're coming at your wife with just sex on the brain, we can smell it a million miles away.
All you want is sex.
That's right. That's
You don't care about me, all you want is
most of the time, that's true. Okay, so if a man recognizes that the more and the higher I value, which is honor, my mate, especially a man towards his wife, but it goes both ways.
Both ways, absolutely.
All right, so the higher the value, the more she tends to respond.
Well, it draws us closer to each other because you feel cherished.
Yeah, and you feel special by this person because this person is amazed and curious to who you are and valuing everything you do instead of getting on your case.
So we're valuing each other and cherishing each other.
But let me just say, there's a real important point in here, and it's so simple. Both mates can begin a very short at first and then make it longer through the years list of all the things you can think of that are important about your mate. Memories, anything about them physically, the history of whatever you've been. So the longer the list, and you can review it from time to time, the higher the value.
Because sex is just a barometer of the marriage. It tells us how well we're doing. Couples that come in to our office for counseling and say we're having problems in this area, we don't start with that area. Now we may figure out there may be some physical issues, lower libido because of medication or depression or whatever, but we always start with the relationship and as the foundation, which is what the first part of that formula is.
And after honor, another factor in the formula is security. And you know, and I got to thinking about this and I wanted to ask, is security different for a man than it is for a woman? Does it translate differently?
Yes.
Well,
okay, so what is security to a man?
The same is safety. It's easier to understand so that, in other words...
So what makes a man feel safe?
Okay, for instance, with us, dealing with the fact that most men lust. We struggle and are tempted in this area to looking at other women other than our wives. And security for me is when my wife started to study that and understand and realize that God wired the human male brain to be turned on visually. She mourned for weeks after she really started studying this, and she looked at every man as a pervert. I mean, she really struggled with this. But security was me being able to share what's deep in my heart and to realize you're my wife. We call it the naked principle in our home. I want to be able to bare my soul to you and be safe.
Okay,
and not be judged.
That's not necessarily security for a woman, though.
No.
No.
Well, security is when you say verbally, I love you and I always will. That's one of the deepest things. You're very valuable to me. When you praise your wife, when you're listening to her, when you're holding her, those are things that build that security.
When you make her feel, let me tell you, men, what women want for security. It's when you make us feel like we are the #1 person in your life. We come before anything and everything.
Well, let me just tell you also that I was afraid to do that because I thought if I did that and said that she was #1, which I did one time, I felt so nervous and so insecure because I thought she's going to take advantage of this. I mean, I'm going to be just, listening all the time. I'm going to be shopping with her all the time. I'm going to be all this stuff all the time.
Man, hell, here we go.
I know, but the reality was that when I said you are #1, even fishing and everything else is golf, everything else is second to you.
She started sending you out fishing.
She started pushing me into those things. That's what amazed me.
Okay, we got to talk now about the third one, okay? We got to talk about intimacy, which is really getting more into better sex. What brings that intimacy?
We believe that it automatically happens. We like to think of the word intimacy in our culture that means romance. So it's boxes of candy, flowers, and men are so dumb at times. We think, I brought a dozen flowers home last night and it didn't work. So maybe next time she's looking for 2 dozen.
Yeah, but look.
No, the foundation of honor and security. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that this idea of men getting gifts for women, I get tick that it's always the men have to perform to do this stuff. I mean, why can't women start giving and finding creative things? You know, it's kind of like, if I give enough, right, then all of a sudden I get, right? I mean, we've got to work beyond that, right?
Way to go.
Way to go.
That's like that.
I want you to know, I got flowers today from my wife.
There you go. I like that, see?
I'll chase her for a week now.
Right,
okay?
exactly. That's right.
We say that intimacy isn't something you need to chase after. It automatically happens when you feel safe.
Safety.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the best sex of your life is at the end of that equation.
Okay, so did you get it? If you can have intercourse in as many ways as possible, not just with your body, but intercourse with your minds, intercourse with your hearts, intercourse with your souls, you are going to reap the rewards. Now, don't leave, because we're going to talk about sugar and spice and everything naughty and nice.